Listen carefully, not like someone listening to just another video, but like someone who knows they may be receiving a crucial warning. Have you ever felt that feeling that something is about to happen, but no one talks openly about it? That concern that tells you, pay attention, something is not right. That is exactly what is happening, and with each passing day, the pieces of this puzzle are moving. The problem is that by the time everything falls into place, it might be too late to understand. Have you noticed how the world has become strangely quieter, as if something is being torn away from everyday life, but no one talks about it? It is not the kind of silence that brings peace, but the kind of silence that leaves the house empty in a way that the heart can feel, even before reason understands it. It's like waking up and realizing that a presence is gone, not because it wanted to leave, but because much greater forces are at play. And this is what we need to talk about now. The scariest thing is that it won't start with something obvious. It will be stealthy, like in corners, and when you look directly, you will see small absences. And one day, everything will be different. The bed will still be made, the glass on the table, but the person who used to be there will no longer be there. And before you think this is just a metaphor, let me tell you, this is a warning. You can choose to ignore it and continue living as if everything is normal. Or you can stop now and ask yourself, what if this is true? What if this message has come to you for a reason? Because you are not here by chance, and if you have come this far, it is because something in you knows that you need to listen to the end. This is your chance to understand what no one else is telling you. It's not about fear, it's about preparation. Because when all this starts happening around you, many will try to find rational explanations, but you will know. You will remember this moment and know that it was no coincidence. The world is not as random as they try to make us believe, and that is why this matters. And we are talking about something much bigger. Those who sustain our lives with their silent faith and prayers. That presence that you may have ignored for so long, but without it everything falls apart. The elderly are not just memories of the past, they are the living link between heaven and earth. And when they are gone, what will be left? You may be wondering if there is a way out of all this, and I tell you yes. But first, you need to understand the magnitude of this battle. You need to feel the urgency of every word being said here, because this video is not entertainment. It is an invitation to open your eyes and prepare for something that can completely change your life and the lives of those you love. I make a request of you. Stay until the end. Listen with an open heart, because every detail that comes next can be the difference between being prepared or being caught off guard. And I'll tell you something else before we continue. It's not too late, but only for those who are ready, and you are. If you are still here, it means that something inside you understands the gravity of this moment, and that's what I need from you. Your complete attention, without distractions, because from now on there is no room for half-truths or comfortable illusions. What I am about to reveal may stir your deepest certainties, but it may also be what keeps you standing when the ground beneath your feet begins to crumble. Can you feel that? That strange feeling on your back, as if something invisible was watching you from afar, waiting for the right moment to act. I'm not here to scare you, I'm here to open your eyes. There is no denying it. We are living in dark times, and the signs are already all around us, even if many refuse to see them. What would you do if you woke up tomorrow and realized that someone very important was no longer there, not because they were gone, but because they simply disappeared? No explanation, no trace, just emptiness, leaving behind everything that was familiar. The cup on the table, the rosary still rolled in her hand, her favorite chair, the heavy silence of a home that has lost its soul. How to deal with that without losing your mind? You may think this will never happen to you, but are you really that sure? How many times have you seen something incredible happen to someone and wondered what it would be like if they were with you? The truth is that no one is immunized, and the cruelest thing is that there will be no explicit warning. There will be no obvious signs for everyone. It will be like a shadow crossing a dark room. You will only realize that something was there when it is too late. That's why I need you to understand this. This battle will not be fought with the eyes. It will be felt with the soul. The first blow will not be physical, it will be spiritual. The elderly, those who carry with them all the strength of prayers, will be the first to feel the weight of this war, because they are not only the elderly, they are the columns that support the faith of families. And when these columns are removed, what will be left? What is happening is not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence. It's a clear message that something much bigger is moving. When you stop paying attention to the spiritual roots that support your home, you make room for something dangerous. Do not think that evil enters through the front door. It infiltrates through the cracks of neglect, through the lack of prayer, through the absence of faith. And that is exactly what he is looking for, a home without protection, a heart without light. So I ask you, are you really prepared to face what is coming? Because when people start disappearing, there will be no immediate answers that can calm you down. Despair will take hold of those who do not understand what is happening. They will look for answers in the news, in theories, but they will not find them. Because the truth is not revealed to those who close their eyes. But you don't need to be one of those people. You are here now, and that means you have a chance to prepare to protect what matters most, and I'm going to show you how to do it. But first, you need to accept that there is an invisible war going on, and what you do from this moment on can completely change the ending of this story. If you are still with me, then stand firm. What follows is the next step in understanding what is at stake, and more importantly, how you can fight back. I'm going to show you that there is no greater force than well-directed faith. Don't look away. The journey is far from over. If you are still here, it is because something deeper within you has called you. Something you can't even fully explain, but can no longer ignore. This is not a coincidence, it is a sign, and the signs cannot be treated with indifference. We are talking about a type of war that will not be announced in headlines or on social networks. It will not come with sirens or official alerts. On the contrary, it will begin with subtleties, with the invisible, with the small absences that take shape until they become an abyss. Therefore, many will be surprised, living as if nothing can touch them, while the columns that support their lives begin to silently crumble. Have you ever felt like the house is getting heavier, like something is missing, but you don't know exactly what? It is as if the walls guard an absence that cannot be filled with distractions or daily tasks. It is not an ordinary absence. It is an echo of the lack of something spiritual, something that used to protect but is now weakened. Now imagine this spreading from home to home until it becomes a pattern that no one can explain. The first to leave will be those who for so long supported their families with prayer and faith, the elderly whom many consider obsolete, but who are actually the guardians of an invisible but powerful legacy. They are the ones who silently offer their pain and sleepless nights to protect those they love. However, they have been forgotten by a world that thinks it no longer needs them. And it is in that arrogance where the danger lies. When they are no longer here, what will happen? Will your daily prayers fill its space, or will your home become another vulnerable territory, exposed to the forces that feed on the absence of faith? Because believe me, where there is no prayer, there are cracks. And where there are cracks, something always gets in, and that something does not come to bring peace. I know these words may seem harsh, but I am not here to comfort you with wishful thinking. I'm here to wake you up. Because no matter how much security the world offers you, there is no greater protection than an active and living faith. A faith that is not just a nice word, but a wall that is built with each sincere prayer. Can you see the pattern? Humanity has pushed away the sacred, and in doing so is removing its own spiritual defenses. Evil does not need to break doors to enter. You just need to find a home that is no longer inhabited by the divine presence. And when it comes in, it doesn't bring noise. It brings chaos disguised as routine, fear disguised as logic, empty made up of normality. So I ask you, what is the condition of your home today? Who are the columns of your house? What will happen if they withdraw them? Don't think you have all the time in the world, because time is treacherous with procrastinators, and the first crack opens when you think that you can leave for tomorrow what you should have done today. But the good news is that you're still here, and if you made it this far, it's because there's still time. There is still a way to protect what you love. Only this requires a decision, not a decision of convenience, but a choice that involves faith and courage. The journey continues, and the next step will show you the way to not just be a spectator, but someone who knows what to do. But before we continue, let me be clear. This battle is not won with luck or good intentions. This is a silent and relentless war. It is not a war with weapons or armies, but with small, daily decisions, sometimes almost imperceptible, but that define the destiny of entire families. And here's the harsh reality. If you don't stand up, the shadows will find their way, not because you intentionally let them in, but because when you don't build a shield, the door is already open, and they don't come in making noise. They arrive with the tiredness of the end of the day, with a silly argument that turns into distancing, with the coldness that transforms hugs into absences. They hide in routine, until one day disconnection is no longer the only reality that remains. Do you know what this means? That every moment is an opportunity to reconnect, to hold the hands of those you love, and remember that you are not alone. Because this is exactly what the enemy wants you to believe, that you are isolated, that no one understands you, that fighting for your faith is a lonely and old-fashioned battle. But listen carefully. This is a lie. It always has been, because there is a greater force that walks by your side, even when you don't perceive it. A force that sees you when you are silent, trying to be strong so as not to break down. A strength that does not abandon you when fear knocks at the door. And it is that strength that you need to invoke within your home, within your heart. You don't need big rituals or ceremonies to do it. You only need one thing: willingness. Willingness to do your part, to get up, even when it seems easier to give up. Because divine protection is not passive, it is an alliance, and every alliance requires commitment. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it must be true. Firstly, I would like to invite you to subscribe to this channel, because here I will be sharing a prophetic message for your heart every day. And don't forget to comment below your prayer request and tell me who you have been praying for in the last few days, your family, friends, for work, for healing. Make your prayer request below, and accompanied by your prayer request, also tell me what country you are from, so I know which countries our message is reaching. Amen. The Virgin Mary warns us of the importance of preparing ourselves through powerful prayers to achieve protection and salvation for our lives. So download now my digital book, The Powerful Prayer of the Virgin Mary. This material covers a variety of prayers suitable for all occasions in life. Don't waste your time. Click on the link available in the first pinned comment and download it immediately. Units are limited. Therefore, it is crucial to act now to ensure that access to the powerful prayer of the Virgin Mary should be now before units run out. And be sure to paste your book without the first comment posted. It is very important to heed the warnings of our Virgin Mary and prepare yourself for the great torment that will come. Today you are called to be more than a spectator. You are called to be the voice that interrupts the silence, the heart that does not give up, the light that illuminates where before there was only darkness. Because you know deep down that what is at stake is not small. What is at stake is the future of your home, the peace you long for, and the faith that may be passed down or forgotten by future generations. And I tell you with complete certainty, when you make this decision, things begin to change. Maybe not in the way you expected, maybe not at the pace you want, but they change. Because where there is faith, there is movement. Where there is prayer, there is transformation. So what are you going to do? Are you going to continue thinking that tomorrow will be easier? Are you going to wait for everything to resolve itself? Or are you going to wake up today and decide that protecting your home starts with you? Not with what others do or don't do, but with your decision to be the spiritual wall that your home needs. It doesn't matter how your journey here went. It doesn't matter if you got lost, if you hesitated, if you remained silent when you should speak. What matters is what you do from now on, because now in this moment you have the opportunity to change everything. I'm not going to tell you that it will be easy, but I assure you that it will be possible. And I remind you that you are not alone, because around the world, many like you are awakening, holding firmly to their prayers and their families, even in the midst of chaos. This fight is yours, but it will never be just you against the world. Now take a deep breath. We go together until the end, because this story does not end with fear, end with faith, with hope, and with victory, and you already took the first step. The journey continues, but the victory has already begun within you, and it is it that will sustain everything around you. If you are here now, it is because the decision has already been made in your heart. You're not going to give up. You are not going to let your home become a silent ruin, nor let fear steal the future of those you love. You have understood that faith is not about not being afraid, but about not letting fear dictate your decisions. And from this moment on, every step you take has a purpose. You can feel the weight of this. You can feel how things begin to change within you. It's not a coincidence. It's the truth taking shape, breaking the chains that tried to bind you for so long. Because the enemy knows where to attack, but doesn't know how to deal with someone who gets up even after being knocked down. He doesn't know how to deal with a heart that, although wounded, continues to beat with faith. And now, I'm going to tell you something that you may not have noticed yet. You don't need absolute certainties to win this battle. You don't need to have all the answers or be invincible. What you need is to keep going, because that's what makes someone invulnerable. The ability to stand firm when everything around you seems to fall apart. Many will ask you, why so much effort? Why fight so hard if no one seems to understand? And the answer is simple but powerful. Because true love does not accept losing. Because protecting those you love is not an obligation. It is a mission that was written in your heart before you knew it. And don't think that this strength comes only from you. It comes from something much bigger, something that sustains you even when you think you're on the brink of collapse. This force reaches out to you in the most unlikely moments, at the exact moment you think about giving up, and whispers, "I am with you." Then take a deep breath and look around you once more. Look at every detail of your home, not just the walls and objects, but the memories it carries with it. The laughter of those you love, the hugs, the moments of faith, the words of comfort. That's why you fight. That's why you can't give in. Because you know that all this is worth more than any fear, more than any shadow that tries to impose itself. You may be small in the eyes of the world, but in the field of faith, you are giant. With every prayer, with every supplication, with every word of faith, you build something that no force of darkness can destroy. And the most incredible thing is that this force not only protects you, but transcends others. When you decide to fight, you strengthen those who don't even know they need to be protected. But I need to be honest with you. There will be difficult days, days when you will question whether you are really making a difference. Days when the voices of fear and doubt will be louder. But on those days, remember one thing: the greatest battles are reserved for those who have the ability to win them. If you were called to this fight, it is because everything you need to succeed is already within you. And it doesn't matter what they say outside. The world may be falling apart, but peace within your home depends on your decision not to let faith die. Because where there is prayer, there is hope. Where there is faith, there is life. and where God is, no darkness can prevail. So if everything around you seems lost, remember this: you are the wall. And you were called, not to be destroyed, but to be strengthened. And I tell you with complete certainty, your story does not end with defeat, it ends with victory, with union, light, because he who perseveres to the end, he who chooses to continue even when everything seems impossible, always finds a way. Now is your time. Get up. Pray like never before. Live every moment knowing that you were called for something greater. Don't look back. Don't doubt what you feel in your heart. The day is not over yet, but the victory has already begun, and it started inside you. You've already come a long way. We reach the moment when everything must be clear. The battle is in front of you, and turning back is not an option, not anymore. What I'm going to tell you now is not to console you, it is to prepare you. Because when the storm comes, what will keep you standing will not be the strength of your arms, nor the firmness of your spirit. There are times when fear no longer whispers. Shout. Try to convince yourself that you are alone, that what you do is not enough, that the fall is inevitable. And it is in this moment, when the darkness seems thickest, that you need to remember. The shadows are only strong when we forget that the light is within us. What is happening is not an accident or coincidence. And as painful as it is, you need to understand that this does not happen to destroy you, but to reveal your strength. This is the essence of all testing, testing the foundations, exposing what is real, and bringing down what is no longer solid. You need to ask yourself, what have I been holding? What do I really believe in? Because in the end, it won't be nice speeches that will keep you firm. It will be your decisions to stay, no matter how strong the winds are. What matters is the depth of your roots. And you have already shown up to this point that you have strong roots. The world does not understand the value of faith. Try replacing it with quick answers, empty promises, and distractions that seem to fill the void, but actually increase it. But you are not like the world. You know that the invisible can be more powerful than the visible. And that's why you can't hesitate anymore. Each prayer, no matter how simple it may be, is one more brick in the spiritual wall that protects your home. And when you bring your family together and pray, even if no one fully understands it, you are creating something powerful, something that darkness cannot break. But before you think that just saying nice words is enough, I need to remind you, faith is not about appearance. It's about delivery. The enemy is not afraid of the sound of words. They fear the sincerity of the heart. The world will offer you many distractions, but none of them will fill the void left by the absence of the sacred. No shortcut will protect your home the way an honest prayer, said in union with those you love, can. So today I make you an invitation, not an easy invitation, but a necessary one, the invitation to ignite faith within your home. It doesn't matter if there are doubts or if you feel like you're alone. It starts with a simple gesture. Close your eyes and ask, protect my home, protect those I love. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be real. Because I promise you that when you take this step, something will change. You may not see it right away, but you will feel it. A weight will be lifted from your chest. Fear will begin to dissipate, because where there is faith, there is light. And where there is light, darkness cannot remain. Don't stop here. The journey is not over. The victory has not come. But now you have the power to change everything around you. The difficult days will come, I know. But so will the victories, although not in the way you expect. The real challenge is to keep your faith, to not give up even if the shadows seem to gain ground, because what is happening is not an accident. It is the reflection of a battle that is already underway. Every step you take from now on is essential, and it's a step you can't take alone. We are no longer talking just about you, but about all those around you. It's not just about your faith, but the faith of those around you, the faith you transmit. Your home, your family, your community need you. They need you to be the light when everything else seems dark. Faith is the answer. Faith is what will make you unstoppable, what will protect you when fear wants to take over you. Don't think you can't make a difference. What happens in your life, in your home, is more important than you think. Your commitment to faith, to prayer, is what sustains everything else. And it is in those moments of challenge, when fear is closest, that it is more important than ever that you keep going. Remember, you are never alone. No matter how great the darkness, there will always be light. You carry that light within you, and now more than ever is when you should let it shine. Victory is not for those who flee from fear, but for those who face adversity with faith, with courage, and with the certainty that there is something greater than all they can see. So get up, pray, and live with purpose. Because the stakes are bigger than you can imagine. It's your home, it's your faith, it's your future. And through that faith, you can change the destiny of everything you love. Don't forget, you are the pillar of your house. Spiritual strength starts with you, and what you do from now on can be the difference between victory and defeat. Every prayer you pray, every word you say in faith is an act of resistance. Every time you rise up to keep fighting, you will be closer to victory, closer to seeing the light, closer to seeing how your faith becomes an impenetrable barrier against everything that tries to destroy your peace. The time has come. It's time to act. It is time to recognize that the battle has already begun. There is no more time to waste. The future of your home, the future of your family depends on you. And you have the strength to keep them safe. Because when you choose faith, you choose victory. And when you choose faith, you choose to live in the light. Your journey begins now. You have everything you need to win this battle, because ultimately it's not about what the world tells you, nor what other people think. It is about what is inside you, about the faith that you carry in your heart, and that with each step becomes a beacon that illuminates the path, not only for you, but for everyone around you. The story we begin to tell today does not end here. The battle continues, but now you know how to fight, how to keep the light on, how to not let the shadows take over your life. Victory is yours, and all you need to do is move forward with faith. Because what is to come is not an end, it is a new beginning. Don't think that everything has already been said. What I'm showing you today is just the beginning. The journey does not end here. The battle for your faith, for your family, for your home, does not stop with a single step. It is a constant struggle, a daily struggle that you must face with a heart full of faith, with every prayer, with every act of courage and resistance. That's why now, more than ever, you need to take action. Don't expect everything to resolve itself. Don't get trapped by routine or by the fear that sometimes seems to suffocate. Faith is not just a word, it is a daily practice. A discipline that you must maintain with everything you are. Only when you remain firm in your faith, in your connection with the divine, in your daily prayers, only there will you be protected. The world is full of distractions and voices that try to convince you that the spiritual does not matter. But you know this is not true. The truth is that what we do not see with our eyes is often the most important thing. The faith you hold, the prayers you say, the spiritual connections you create are true strength. And when you are not aware of it, when you let the shadows enter your life, you begin to lose that anchor that keeps you firm. It is as if you are an architect of your own spiritual destiny, and what you build today will determine what happens tomorrow. The small prayers, the leaps of faith, the daily decisions to believe and move forward, all of these become the structure that holds your home together. And if ever something starts to waver, if ever the shadows start to invade, that strength that you have built with your faith will be what will keep you standing. Remember that you are the light. You are the light that illuminates the path of others. And that light, if you keep it alive, can pierce the deepest darkness. Don't let fear turn you off. Don't let doubt set you back. What is happening today, what we are experiencing, are just the signs that there is something much bigger at play. And this is your chance to change course, to make sure that the light you've turned on in your home never goes out. Faith is the way. Faith is the shield that protects you from everything that is to come. But faith requires action. Faith is not just sitting and waiting. It is getting up every day and praying, trusting, being brave, and keeping your heart open to the divine. Faith is the door that leads you to protection, peace, victory. The battle is not yours alone. Around you there are many who fight too, many who need your light, your faith, your strength. And you, by standing firm, by not giving up, by continuing to believe even when everything seems lost, you are showing them the way. So don't hesitate, don't hesitate. This is the call you've been waiting for. This is the moment when everything can change. Because victory begins with a decision. Victory begins when you choose to stand firm, when you decide not to give up, when you decide to believe, pray, and protect what you love. Victory begins within you. And that victory extends to all those around you, to all the generations who follow your example. Never forget that faith is the light that never goes out. Although the shadows approach, although the storms arrive, faith, prayer, and love will always find a way to light the way. Now is your time to make that choice, to make that decision. Because when you do this, when you choose to be ready, when you choose to live with faith, you live with the certainty that victory is yours. Spiritual preparation is essential to face difficult times, as it provides us with a solid foundation on which we can stand when adversities seem insurmountable. We live in a world full of uncertainty, where external circumstances often escape our control. However, our inner peace and the strength we need to face any challenge are found in our spiritual connection with the divine. Prayer, meditation, and reflection allow us to calm our minds and find clear direction, even in the midst of confusion. In times of crisis, people who have cultivated a deep relationship with their faith are able to remain calm and hopeful, knowing that they are not alone and that they can trust in a higher force to guide them. Spiritual preparation is not only an act of personal protection, but a way to strengthen our resilience in the face of the unexpected. Spiritual preparation should not be seen as an exclusive resource for times of difficulty, but as a constant practice that prepares us for any situation. Just as an athlete trains regularly to face competitions, we must train our faith and spirituality to be ready for any challenge. This daily preparation involves not only praying and meditating, but also cultivating values such as patience, forgiveness, and compassion, which will allow us to react appropriately to conflicts. Life constantly presents us with trials, and if we are not spiritually prepared, it is easy to fall into fear, despair, and anger. On the contrary, a person who maintains a constant practice of spiritual connection will be able to maintain serenity and clarity in their mind, allowing them to make wise decisions in times of uncertainty. In addition to personal resilience, spiritual preparedness also has a direct impact on our ability to support others in difficult times. When we are firmly anchored in our faith, we can be a source of support to those around us. In a crisis, people who have cultivated strong spiritual preparedness can offer comfort, hope, and direction to their loved ones, conveying calm and security in the midst of chaos. This mutual support is crucial for the emotional survival of communities during periods of adversity. In this way, spiritual preparation not only benefits us individually, but also has a multiplying effect on our relationships and society in general. If we all make the decision to strengthen our spirituality, we can create an environment of peace and support in times of difficulty, where each member of the community can find comfort and strength in their faith. Ignoring the signals from the world around us is a common mistake, since we are often so immersed in the daily routine that we do not pay attention to the spiritual and emotional signals that the environment sends us. However, these signs are a warning, an opportunity to review our lives and our priorities before something more serious happens. The world is constantly changing, and it is vital to pay attention to the signs of these changes. When we do not recognize them, we become vulnerable to uncertainty and chaos. People often ignore discomfort in their heart or around them, convinced that it is just a bad day or a passing phase. But in reality, these moments are calls for reflection, for the search for spiritual answers. Ignoring these signals is like disconnecting from our own essence and the wisdom that surrounds us. When we decide to ignore these signals, we begin to live in a more disconnected and isolated way. We become less aware of the small changes that occur in our lives and the world, which can have significant consequences. Signs can come in the form of unexpected situations, changes in our health, deteriorating relationships, or even a growing sense of discomfort in our environment. If we do not stop to reflect on these signs, we run the risk of not making the necessary adjustments before it is too late. These warnings are not only related to the external crisis, but to our own mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Life speaks to us constantly, but we must be in tune to be able to listen and act accordingly. Otherwise, we risk being swept away by the current without direction or purpose. In the long term, ignoring signals from the world around us can lead to greater suffering and chaos. Unresolved problems tend to accumulate and, when not addressed in time, can explode in unexpected ways. Disconnection with the spiritual and emotional can lead us to make poor decisions, damage our relationships, and lose sight of what really matters in life. However, if we begin to recognize and address these signs, we can prevent problems from becoming crises. By doing so, we not only prevent future conflicts, but we also align ourselves with our true essence and purpose. By opening ourselves to the signs of the world, we strengthen our ability to handle life's challenges, knowing that we are on a path of constant growth and evolution. Ignoring the signs is choosing to live in darkness, while embracing them allows us to walk with clarity and purpose. The strange silence of the world is something we cannot ignore. It is not the silence that brings peace, but the one that leaves a feeling of emptiness, as if something is missing. This silence reflects the absence of faith in many parts of the world, a world that increasingly seems disconnected from its spiritual roots. When faith begins to fade, so does the spiritual vibration that connects us all. Instead of finding comfort and direction in faith, we find ourselves surrounded by a void that makes us feel lost and disconnected. This silence can be disconcerting, as it reminds us that we have neglected fundamental aspects of our spiritual lives, focusing on the distractions of the modern world. The lack of faith creates a deep void that is filled with uncertainty and fear, creating an environment where peace seems unattainable. This strange silence not only affects people individually, but also has a collective impact. When a community loses its spiritual connection, its ability to support each other is affected. Relationships weaken, empathy decreases, and people feel lonelier than ever. The world is filled with noise, but noise is not the answer. What we need is not more distraction, but more reflection, more connection. Without faith, hope fades, and people become trapped in a cycle of anxiety and despair. The silence of the absence of faith prevents us from hearing the inner wisdom that would guide us if we were willing to pay attention. Faith is what gives meaning to life, allowing us to find purpose even in the darkest moments. The absence of it leaves the soul empty, looking for something to fill the gap that only spirituality can fill. Recovering faith is the only way to break this strange silence and bring life back to the world. When we connect with our spirituality, we begin to fill that void, bringing back peace and hope. Faith is not just a religious belief. It is the inner strength that allows us to face difficulties with resilience and courage. It is the light that illuminates our path in the darkness. When faith is restored, the world stops feeling empty and begins to fill with purpose and connection. people feel closer, peace is restored, and love begins to flow again. Regaining faith is not just a matter of prayer or rituals, but of reconnecting with what really matters in life, our ability to love and support each other, and to trust in something bigger than ourselves. Fear and darkness are powerful forces that lurk in moments of vulnerability. When we let go of daily prayer, we strip ourselves of one of the most powerful tools to protect our mind and spirit. Prayer is not only a religious act, it is a refuge that connects us with the divine and provides us with inner strength to face life's challenges. By abandoning this daily act, we begin to weaken spiritually, and the shadows of fear begin to infiltrate our lives. This fear is not just the physical fear of the unknown, but a deeper sense of emotional and spiritual insecurity. Without the protection of prayer, we become more susceptible to doubt, anxiety, and despair, losing the mental clarity necessary to make wise and just decisions. Darkness, in its most insidious form, does not come immediately. It creeps in slowly, starting with negative and anxious thoughts that occupy our minds. Without the light of prayer, these thoughts multiply, creating an internal environment of chaos and confusion. When we pray, we align ourselves with our highest purpose and are filled with peace. However, when we stop praying, that peace disappears, leaving room for doubts and fears. This inner emptiness is precisely what allows darkness to take over our lives. We become more vulnerable to temptations and external influences that distance us from our divine essence. The absence of daily prayer causes us to lose our connection with good and leaves us at the mercy of the negative forces that lurk in the environment. This is why the constant practice of daily prayer is crucial to keep our spiritual strength intact. Prayer not only connects us with God, but it also allows us to regain our inner peace and resist the forces that try to lead us away from our path. When we make prayer a daily habit, we are building a protective barrier against dark influences that wish to take control of our emotions and thoughts. By praying, we reaffirm our trust in the divine and strengthen our mind, body, and soul to face adversities. Prayer is a tool that illuminates our path, dispelling the shadows of fear and darkness. In this way, by incorporating daily prayer into our lives, we not only protect ourselves from darkness, but also cultivate a life full of light, hope, and clarity, even in the midst of the most difficult trials. Elders play a fundamental role in maintaining faith within the family and community. Often, they are the ones who have gone through many life experiences, who have faced difficulties, and through faith have managed to overcome them. His knowledge and wisdom not only come from books, but from his spiritual and emotional experience. These guardians of faith are like the deep roots of a tree, keeping the trunk firm even during storms. In the family, it is grandparents, older parents, or elders who, through their prayers and teachings, transmit the value of faith to the younger generations. Without their presence and guidance, the connection with the divine in the family can weaken, since they are the ones who, through their actions, teach the importance of prayer, perseverance, and hope. In addition to being guardians of the faith, elders also play the role of spiritual advisors. His perspective on life, death, and difficult times is infused with a wisdom that can only be acquired with time. His ability to maintain peace, to forgive, and to teach new generations how to face adversity with faith is invaluable. Elders are the ones who often intercede for their loved ones in prayer, and their steadfast faith has transformative power. By ignoring the role of elders in our lives, we are losing a vital source of wisdom and spiritual protection. It is crucial that the youngest connect with these wise men, learning from their example and seeking in them the answers to life's challenges. However, in modern society, we often underestimate the value of the elderly, seeing them only as a part of the past rather than as active guardians of the faith. This disconnection is dangerous, as we are losing access to the rich spiritual heritage that the elders have to offer us. Instead of valuing their experience, we often ignore their advice and stop learning from their teachings. When the elderly stop being an active part of our lives, the family loses its spiritual balance. Faith weakens, and the family begins to fall apart, as the spiritual foundation on which it is built begins to fade. Therefore, it is vital to recognize the essential role of the elderly. Listen to them, learn from them, and allow their faith to be a guide for future generations. Faith is the spiritual wall that protects us from chaos, fear, and the dark forces that try to destabilize our lives. Just as a physical wall protects a city from invaders, faith acts as an invisible barrier that defends our home and family from the negative influences that can invade our minds, hearts, and relationships. When we keep our faith strong, we build a constant protection that not only withstands life's difficulties, but also allows our home to be a safe haven full of peace and harmony. Prayer, meditations, and acts of daily faith are the bricks that strengthen that wall, making it increasingly difficult for any shadow to penetrate our home. This spiritual protection is not only a personal matter, but also a collective one, because when the whole family unites in prayer and faith, the wall becomes even more powerful. To protect our home with faith, it is important to recognize that this spiritual wall is not a passive construction, but an active one. It requires our constant participation, our willingness to keep the connection with the divine alive. Just like a garden needs to be tended to flourish, our faith needs to be nourished and renewed every day. This means praying as a family, sharing spiritual moments, reflecting on the teachings of faith, and teaching our children the values that sustain our home. When faith becomes a daily habit, the spiritual wall is naturally strengthened, providing protection that is not seen but felt in every corner of the home. This protection is a layer of peace that allows us to face problems with serenity, knowing that we are not alone and that there is a greater force that guides us and supports us at all times. The spiritual wall that we build with faith also has the power to heal. In a home where faith is a priority, emotional wounds, conflicts, and tensions can find healing through prayer and forgiveness. Faith is a medicine for the soul that restores harmony and unity, even when the outside world seems full of chaos. Families who practice faith together are better equipped to overcome challenges and face adversity. Faith also gives us the ability to see the good in every situation, to learn from difficult times, and to grow spiritually through them. Therefore, the spiritual wall not only protects, but also strengthens and heals, turning the home into a place where we can find comfort, hope, and renewal. In times of difficulty, faith reminds us that we are not alone and that there is always an opportunity for peace and restoration. Living without paying attention to the spiritual on a daily basis is like walking through life without a compass, without direction. Spirituality is what gives us a deeper sense of purpose, allowing us to find peace in the midst of chaos and serenity when everything seems out of control. Without this spiritual anchor, we begin to live on autopilot, seeking temporary solutions to deep problems without addressing the true causes that affect our lives. The distractions of the modern world drag us down, and we forget to connect with our inner being, with the divine. This disconnection from the spiritual can lead us to make wrong decisions, lose our way, and live an empty life, without the peace and satisfaction that only spirituality can provide. The danger of living without paying attention to the spiritual is that little by little we move away from our essence, and life becomes a series of empty routines without purpose or direction. When we do not pay attention to the spiritual, our relationships also begin to suffer. Lack of connection with the divine distances us from others, because true spiritual connection is reflected in how we treat people. Without a solid foundation of faith and spiritual values, tensions, misunderstandings, and conflicts in relationships become more common. Living without the spiritual turns us into selfish beings, focused only on our immediate needs and desires, without considering the emotional and spiritual needs of others. This can lead to complete disconnection, where people feel alone, misunderstood, and unsupported. Spirituality teaches us to love our neighbors, forgive, and build healthy relationships based on mutual respect and compassion. Ignoring the spiritual means ignoring the importance of these relationships, which can lead to a life of loneliness and emotional emptiness. The danger of living without paying attention to the spiritual also affects our mental and emotional health. Stress, anxiety, and sadness are common when we disconnect from what really matters. Spirituality is a source of internal peace that helps us face life's difficulties with a more positive and resilient mentality. Without it, we can feel overwhelmed by external pressures and lose hope in times of difficulty. Faith gives us strength to overcome difficult times and allows us to find lessons in adversity. Without daily spiritual practice, we become more susceptible to emotional exhaustion and the feeling that life is meaningless. Therefore, integrating the spiritual into our daily lives is essential to maintain our mental and emotional health and to live a more balanced and fulfilling life. Keeping the light on in your life when everything seems dark is one of the biggest challenges we face as human beings. In times of difficulty, it can seem like darkness envelops everything, that there is no way out, that hope has faded. However, the light is never completely extinguished as long as there is faith. The light we have within us is what connects us with the divine, with love and hope. To keep that light alive, we need to practice gratitude, prayer, and daily reflection. Every moment we spend connecting with the spiritual is a step toward restoring our inner peace. Darkness can only prevail when we stop seeking the light, when we surrender to despair. But by seeking the light, by keeping our faith alive, we find the strength to keep going, even when all seems lost. When everything seems dark, it is easy to get carried away by negativity and hopelessness. Negative thoughts can cloud our vision and make us feel like the light will never return. However, faith reminds us that even in the darkest moments, there is something greater working on our behalf. Keeping the light on in our lives means trusting that, even if we don't always understand the reasons behind our trials, there is always a lesson to learn and an opportunity to grow. The light is also kept alive by surrounding us with people who share our faith, who support us and help us maintain hope. Spiritual community is a beacon of light that guides us when we are lost in the darkness. Finally, keeping the light on also means taking care of ourselves, both physically and spiritually. Spiritual health is not just a matter of prayer and faith, but also how we take care of ourselves emotionally and mentally. Meditation, reflection, and rest are essential to renew our energies and keep our inner light bright. When we take care of ourselves holistically, we are better able to face the darkness with serenity and confidence. The light not only stays alive within us, but also radiates outwards to others, helping to illuminate their path. In this way, we can be the light in the lives of others, sharing hope and love even in the most difficult times. The difference between living in faith and living by routine. Are you prepared for what is coming? First paragraph. Living in faith and living by routine are two ways of facing life with completely different purposes. While routine is a cycle of repetitive habits that takes us to a place of comfort, faith challenges us to step out of that comfort and walk into the unknown, trusting in something bigger than ourselves. Living in faith means being in constant connection with the divine, seeking answers, guidance, and hope, even when circumstances are difficult. Living by routine, on the other hand, makes us walk on autopilot, without reflecting or questioning the purpose of our actions. Faith invites us to live with conscience, with a reason for being that drives us to overcome obstacles and move forward, while routine traps us in a cycle of indifference that makes us blind to the spiritual opportunities that life offers us. Spiritual preparation is crucial to knowing how to act in times of uncertainty and difficulty. When we live by routine, it is easy to fall into despair when things don't go as we expect. Faith instead teaches us to trust that even when things don't seem to make sense, there is a greater purpose at play. People who live by routine are overwhelmed by everyday problems since they do not have a broader vision of what is happening. Faith, on the other hand, gives us perspective and allows us to see beyond the immediate, trusting that everything we are experiencing has a purpose in the divine plan. Being prepared for what is coming not only means being physically ready, but also spiritually strong, with the certainty that, whatever happens, we are not alone on the path. Being spiritually prepared also means being willing to make decisions that bring us closer to the divine, to live in faith instead of simply following the flow of life. Faith encourages us to make decisions based on love, compassion, and divine purpose, while routine pushes us to act without thinking, to react automatically and disconnected. To truly be prepared for what is coming, we need to be aware of the importance of strengthening our relationship with the divine every day. Faith is what sustains us when everything around us seems to fall apart, and it reminds us that there is something greater than our human understanding. By living in faith, we are not only better prepared for difficult times, but we also give ourselves the opportunity to live richer, fuller, and purposeful lives. Spiritual warfare is a constant battle waged in the heart and soul, mind of every human being. Although it is not visible to the eye, its impact is deep and real. We all face internal struggles between light and darkness, between what is right and what distances us from our true essence. This war is not fought with physical weapons, but with our decisions, thoughts, and actions. Every negative thought, every hurtful word, and every selfish act feeds the darkness, while faith, prayer, forgiveness, and compassion feed the light. Spiritual warfare is an ongoing process where each day we have the opportunity to choose which side to feed. By recognizing that we are in this war, we can take steps to protect our inner peace and strengthen our relationship with the divine. To overcome this spiritual war, it is necessary to be aware of our vulnerabilities and the influences that affect our minds and hearts. Daily life is full of distractions that take us away from what really matters. The media, material concerns, and external pressures can easily divert our attention from the spiritual. However, our most powerful weapon against darkness is constant connection with the divine. Daily prayer, meditation, and the study of spiritual teachings are essential to strengthen our defense against negative forces. Spiritual discipline allows us to maintain a clear mind, a heart full of love, and a strong will to resist the temptations that seek to separate us from our highest purpose. Winning spiritual warfare does not mean that we are exempt from difficulties, but rather that, through faith, we have the ability to face any challenge with hope and confidence. The key is to recognize that the real battle is internal and that our peace depends on our daily choices. By practicing faith in action, by being kind, compassionate, and generous to others, we can dispel the shadows that try to take over our being. We are not alone in this fight, as the divine is always ready to help us, but we must be willing to do our part. Spiritual warfare is fought every day, but victory is guaranteed for those who choose to walk in the light, who choose to strengthen their faith, and who stand firm in their divine purpose. The family unit is one of the most powerful forces we have to face life's crises. In times of difficulty, when the world seems to be crumbling around us, family is the safe haven where we find comfort, support, and strength. Family prayer is a practice that not only strengthens the emotional ties between members, but also creates a deep spiritual connection that helps us face any adversity together. Crisis can come in different forms: loss, illness, financial difficulties. But when the family stays together in prayer, there's a sense of peace that surpasses the external chaos. Prayer shared as a family is an act of love and solidarity, which reinforces unity and allows us to remember that, despite trials, there is always hope and a divine purpose in every situation. Prayer in times of crisis is also a way of surrendering our concerns to the divine, trusting that we are not alone in the struggle. Through prayer, we can ask for guidance, wisdom, and strength to face challenges. This practice helps us see difficulties from a spiritual perspective, recognizing that everything has a purpose, even if we don't fully understand it at the time. Additionally, praying as a family helps us maintain a sense of community, mutual support, and shared responsibility. Each family member contributes their faith and prayers, creating a stronger and more resilient spiritual environment. In times of crisis, shared prayer is a reminder that together we are stronger and that with faith we can overcome any obstacle. Finally, family unity and prayer teach us to practice patience, forgiveness, and gratitude. In the midst of crisis, it is easy to fall into despair, frustration, or anger, but family prayer reminds us that we must be a support for others, that we must be compassionate and understand the emotional needs of those around us. Through prayer, we learn to look beyond immediate difficulties and focus on the inner peace that comes from our faith. When the family prays together, a spiritual bond is created that not only helps them overcome the present crisis, but also strengthens the foundation to face any future challenge with a heart full of love, hope, and faith. Spiritual emptiness is a deep sensation that many people experience in moments of disconnection from the divine. This emptiness feels like a lack of purpose, direction, or inner peace, and can be caused by a variety of factors, such as stress, personal difficulties, or even excess material distractions. When we are not in tune with the spiritual, emptiness manifests in our daily lives emotionally, mentally, and physically. We feel empty, like something fundamental is missing, but we often don't know what it is. This emptiness can create a feeling of hopelessness, making us feel like something is missing without being able to identify what it is. Without a deep spiritual connection, this void is amplified as life loses its meaning, and we become trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. To fill this spiritual void, it is essential that we seek a deeper connection to our faith. This can be achieved through prayer, meditation, personal reflection, and the pursuit of spiritual knowledge. Prayer is a powerful means to reconnect with the divine and find comfort in times of doubt and anxiety. It is also important to recognize that the spiritual void cannot be filled with material goods or personal achievements. Although these may provide temporary satisfaction, only the spiritual can give us the lasting peace we seek. By filling our hearts with the light of faith, we begin to heal the emptiness within and experience greater wholeness. Faith helps us understand that emptiness is not something to be feared, but rather an invitation to seek something greater than ourselves. Filling the spiritual void also means making room for love, gratitude, and forgiveness in our lives. As we connect more deeply with the divine, our perspective on life changes, and we begin to see the world with new eyes. Faith gives us the opportunity to let go of the burdens of the past, forgive, and heal. By focusing on the spiritual, we learn to live with purpose and find peace in the midst of adversity. This process is not immediate, but over time, we experience an internal transformation that fills the void and allows us to live a richer, fuller, and more connected life with divine love. Comment below for protection type, Free Lord from all evil and danger. I would like to invite you to pray right now and pray, so don't forget to put your prayer request in the comments. If you have already done so, write it down. Amen. Let us pray for your life. Hail Mary. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Glory to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. As it was in the beginning, now and forever. Amen jaculatory. O my Jesus, forgive us, save us from the fires of hell, lead all souls to heaven and help especially those who need it most.